Welcome to my sacred space. Today I want to share my relationship with the animal kingdom. It is such a love-based and ongoing, wisdom-filled, love-filled connection that has actually spoken to me several times in my life. Not only about humanity, but about this dimension and about form in general. With the ability to see auras and also hear other forms, recently I had an amazing experience. So I walked into a supermarket and I heard a bird chirping. And when I heard that bird chirping, I kind of shifted my focus and leaned into that vibration, which then revealed to me the message that that bird was sending out. And it was very frantic and very desperate. And I couldn't see the bird physically, but I could hear it. And it was coming from the rafters way up high. So what it was basically doing is it was a baby and it was calling out to its mother. And when I stepped out of the supermarket, I heard and tuned into and saw this frantic conversation going on between the birds outside of the supermarket, just flying back and forth in front of the automatic door that opens and closes. And I felt deep compassion for the situation, and I wanted to see if I could help. And so I went back into the supermarket. I became really quiet and still. I didn't care who was looking at me or humanity-wise or why they were looking at me or trying to figure me out. I was really tuned into this situation with this baby bird and its mother outside the store trying to, yelling, if you will, outside the store to try and get this baby to come out. So I closed my eyes and I was able to, I'm going to share with you what it looks like visually, to me anyway, to see the dialogue and to be able to tune into it not only in your heart center, but in your visual third eye center, and communicate, not only pick up on the communication, but able to communicate in return. And so when I closed my eyes, I focused on my third eye and my heart center, and it came out to a point, and then it went out straight to this baby bird. And I sent this heart message for the baby bird to come down from the rafters and to come out the sliding glass doors. That I would stand in the way of the sliding glass doors so that it could come out in safety and the trauma could be over. And the way that I did that is sacred geometry visually is all around us. It's vibration, it's frequency. We are frequency, a light frequency before we are physical form. And so when I communicate with other forms or consciousness, I'm able to tune into, we all are, the frequency and the vibration that exists around us. And as an example, it would look like a cone of current running through a frequency of light. So it would look like a small little portal that then expands and gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger as it goes out. It's like a thought expanding out into the universe, into the mass consciousness, and into choose a loved one or a situation. And so when I tuned into this baby bird to communicate and return with it, I was able to, as an example, see the ray of light that it was sending out in its communication. I was able to connect with that ray of light and send communication of my own to the bird. So what ended up happening is this baby bird flew from the rafters down and landed right above the sliding glass doors inside the store, where there was a window above the sliding glass doors. As if I go like this, like you're going to be able to visualize it better. But there was a smaller window above the sliding glass doors with a little shelf on it, and that's where the baby bird landed. So now the mother is outside the sliding glass door, and that window that the little baby bird is staring out of at its mother, and the mother's flying back and forth frantically in front of this window. And so I stood in the doorway of the sliding glass door and sent my own messages. So now this baby bird had messages coming from me and from its mother, but from two different perspectives. I'm partially inside the store, and the mother bird is outside the store, flying back and forth in front of this smaller window and little shelf that this baby bird landed on. So I'm holding the door open, and if you've ever tried to stand in an automatic door, it only stops for so long, and then it pushes against you. And so it's pushing against me, and I'm like, no, no. And so then I told the mother and the baby bird to stay right there, and I ran and I got the manager of the store, and I said, can you lock these doors open? Can you stop them from closing? I'm trying to help this baby bird out of the store. She looked at me, and somehow her heart center overrode anyway her mental judgment, and she said, yeah, let me get the keys. So now we're all participating in helping this baby bird get to its mother and get out of this store. And so she locked the doors open, so they stayed open. They were no longer closing. And by the way, during this all, customers are coming in and out, and you know, they're walking towards the door to go out, and they're looking at me, and then they're looking around like, what is she doing? Now, I wasn't talking out loud to the bird. I was talking telepathically to the bird and connecting with the consciousness of this baby bird. So I wasn't standing in the door yelling or talking, but you know, I was standing at the door and really focused on what was happening, how miraculous it was that the baby bird could hear me, and that I was honored to be a part of that experience. And of course, in my humanity, hoping that not only that it had a good ending, but that the baby bird would be able to find its strength. So the baby bird is in the window, and it is hopping up and down. There go my hand signals. So it's jumping up and down, and it's getting really tired. And while it's doing this, little tiny baby bird feathers, because it's a baby, are flying out and just floating to the floor of the supermarket. And so I'm coaxing the bird, I'm communicating with the bird, come out the door, your mother's right here. When all of a sudden, the mother bird must have had it with the baby bird jumping up and down and not getting any momentum or movement. When the mother bird flies through the doors that are now open thanks to me, and joins her baby bird on the ledge. And so now there's 2 birds inside the store. And so my humanity goes, oh no. And my soul goes, oh, okay. So you're going to show her how the path to get out. So the mother bird starts flying in and out of the sliding glass doors, in and out of the sliding glass doors. But what happened at this point is this baby bird was so exhausted that it was watching the mother and chirping, going back and forth, and then this baby bird took off to try and do it, and was like, what? Turbulence in an airplane. It was like, oh, oh, oh. And I was standing there just energetically with all of my heart and all of my being, trying to hold up energetically, vibrationally, with the frequency, just everything, even my intention, hoping that was enough to help this baby bird not only stay afloat, but get out. But what ended up happening is she was so weak and so, I think at this point, not just exhausted, but hungry and not in a good place, that she ended up flying upwards and landing on like a light. There were lights. What is it? There are lights that were made out of metal, and those lights crossed each other, and so she landed on one of those lights. Well, and the mother bird is just going insane now, and people are still looking at me, and there's a part of me that's going, people, do you not see what's happening? But of course that's my humanity, and I went into my compassion and understood that no, that this is not everyone's focus of intention, and it just happened to be mine that morning, and I'm so glad that it was. So the baby bird is sitting on this metal light frame, and I can almost see it's heaving, breathing, and exhaustion up and down, and now its chirp is really faint, and I remember starting to get emotional and saying to my humanity, no, you can't focus there right now. You can bawl like a baby when this is over, but right now you have to be the strength, and you have to be, because of my desire to be, not because I'm forced to be, the bridge, hopefully, that creates a connection here. So the mother flies in again into the store, and I'm completely like, I can just imagine what people were thinking, because now my eyes are completely shut, my hands are at my side, and I've become this frozen pillar of energetic strength, just trying to send it to this baby bird and fuel it from the outside in. And so, who knows, I'm sure some people had a laugh at that, and I welcome that. So I'm standing there, eyes closed, and I am like vibrating with energy, when all of a sudden I open my eyes because I feel fluttering in my hair, like the baby bird has come to me and it went to land on my head and it got caught in my hair. And so I remember saying out loud, okay, it's okay, it's okay. And it slid down my hair and it landed right here. And I was wearing a gray, thick sweatshirt that day with a really thick hoodie. And so it slid down my hair and it landed on the hoodie. The baby bird was right there. I was so honored and so excited. Well, I didn't waste a second. I wanted to run, but I didn't. I slowly and very carefully walked out of the door of the store. And then I walked, so I'm outside now, and the mother is flying around me, flying around me, flying around me. And the baby bird isn't even looking at her, because, and I'm like looking down at this bird. And I'm like, you stay there, telepathically, of course, as long as you need to. I'm not moving. You gather your strength. I'm just going to stay here and send you warmth and love and light and gratitude that you somehow, in some way, experienced the communication, trusted me, felt safe enough with me to land there, and that I was able to take you outside. So then somebody was walking by me and I whispered, and this person said, "Excuse me," and then she looked at the fact that there was a bird on me, and I said, "Can you just go in there and tell the manager to close the automatic door? She'll know what I mean." And so the lady goes, "Okay." And so she did. She went and told the manager, and the manager, you should have seen her face. She looked outside and she saw the bird on me, and her eyes got really big, and I could see her heart energy just expand, and she just shook her head and closed the doors. So I was there, standing there with that bird for about, I'm going to say 7 minutes, with not only the mother flying around me, but all the family or soul lineage of these beings, celebrating that this bird made it. And then all of a sudden, the bird just flew off of my shoulder and into a nest. And I heard just so much chirping, and if you could translate it, it would be yelling and joy and tell us about your journey, etc. And so then tears just started. I mean, tears of gratitude, tears of recognizing that every moment in our lives we have the opportunity to experience being a part of something, even if it's looking at Mother Nature and recognizing that we are part of nature. That I was able to be a part of that morning. I was part of something so much bigger than me and perfectly fitting the universe, and it changed me, it enhanced me, and in a way that I realized that we can participate not only with the animal kingdom, but that the animal kingdom is very aware of humanity, and that we as a human species are the only species that don't feel fully worthy of being here in this celebration of life and form. So much so that we start claiming ownership over what is not ours. It was a beautiful experience, and one that reminded me that we are all one, and that whether we speak the same language or we are of a different form, the heart language is a universal language that is understood by a blade of grass, a tree, the Sky Nation, as I call it, and the winged ones, all of us. So next time you really want to feel seen and heard, and maybe even participating, tune in to your heart and then send out the message of love into the universe and Mother Nature, and you'll get it back in return. Thank you for sharing in my journey. Blessings.